we're going to talk about the ABCs of estate planning. What's going to happen to your stuff when you die? Now, you've done all the right things. You've saved. You have a big fat bank account. You have enough retirement savings to retire when you want to. You have this beautiful house now that you and your kids live in. But what's going to happen to all that stuff when you die? Let's start with beneficiary designations. I would say that's the easiest thing to make sure that they are written and exist. So all retirement accounts, whether it's a 401k, 403b, IRA, demand you have beneficiary designations when you first open the account. What is a beneficiary designation? That's a listing of who or what you want that account to go to in case something happens to you. So let's say you have 2 kids and you want each of them to get half the account. You list each kid 50-50. Maybe you like one kid more than the other. So maybe one kid gets 70%, the other kid gets 30%. But speaking of kids, let's say you've been extremely responsible and very fortunate to have a $1 million IRA and you have a 7-year-old boy and a 10-year-old girl. And all of a sudden, you die. Is it a good idea for each kid to inherit $500,000 directly when they're 7 and 10 years old? I don't know. They could spend that money on a car they can't even drive yet. It might be better to come up with some kind of trust or will, which I'm going to talk about in a moment, where you can have them inherit that money through a legal document so that some adult can help them manage those assets until they're an adult. So speaking of will and trust, what is the difference? We've heard about that. Hey, you should definitely get a will just in case you die, or you should get a trust. What is the difference? Well, they're kind of similar in that it states your specific wishes in terms of what you want to happen to your things once you pass away. However, what a lot of people don't know is a will, which you, by the way, can write on a piece of paper, or you can have it as a more formal legal document. A will still goes through the courts and has to go through something called probate after you die. So let's say, I don't know, there's some weird grammatical errors or it's written in a funny way. Even though it's a real will, a court or a judge can decide that they're not going to honor it. And your assets could still potentially go to someone you don't intend. Whereas a trust, which does cost a little bit more upfront to create, a trust is a private document where you choose a person, a trusted person, to execute your wishes on your behalf, called a trustee or a successor trustee, and it stays outside of the courts. So you will tell a trustee to distribute your assets that are owned by the trust to whoever or whatever you want, whether it's your favorite college or university, your children, nieces, your dog, whoever you want. All right, back to your kids. If your kids are minors and not adults yet, something happens to you, maybe both of you, let's say me and my baby daddy, die at the same time. Who's that backup person that's going to take care of my kids? And when I say take care of, that's 2 different things. Taking care of them literally and taking care of them financially. It could be one and the same person that you designate, or it could be 2 different people. For example, you really love your sister, you trust her to take care of your children in case something happens to you, but maybe she's not the best at her own money management. You can designate someone else to help her and guide her with the finances in terms of the assets and give her enough money to take care of your children in the best way possible until they become adults. All right, so that was a bit morbid, ABCs of estate planning, but hey, what I like to say is I like to control my assets from the grave. Anyway, if you learned something from this, I do have other ABC personal finance videos. Some of them are not as morbid. Subscribe to this YouTube channel and check them out. Also, go to our website, thewealthgardenfs.com, where you can find our blogs, other videos. That's a way you can also reach out to me directly with your questions or comments. I'd love to hear what you think about my videos. Otherwise, my name's Josefte Cruz, and I'll see you next time.